my people. How you doing? How you doing? My people, welcome back. U&I TALK SHOW. My people, welcome back. Let's turn on the music. My people, welcome back. Your favorite host, Ausares, Louise UWACU in the building. My people, I see some people tuned in already. Thank you so much for being here. I see some comments already. Thank you so much for being here. My people, wow. If you want to join the show, my people, you have the link in the comments. Please join the show. I see somebody in studio, but you gotta turn on, connect your camera, connect your mic. Join us in the studio, my people. Welcome back to U&I Talk Show. Today we gonna talk about Kemi Seba's new book and his plight. And if he can show up in the show, he's gonna show up. We all know what's happening in West Africa. It's not easy. If he cannot show up, he's not gonna show up. But either way, congratulations to those of you who have the book. This book is specifically, according to me, more appropriate to the younger generation, which would like to have an introduction and a foundation into Africa's history and challenges. He really cited a lot of great authors. And on top of that, my people, today on the news, when it comes to the Great Lakes region, we have the president of the dictatorship of Kagamistan, who announced that he was going to run for president again. Oh, my people, in Rwanda, Kagame is running against Kagame. So that's what's happening, my people. So let us know if you are following the news. Let us know what you think. But there is absolutely zero democracy in Rwanda. And they're saying that the one candidate is gonna run one more time against himself. What do you think about that, my people? What do you think about that? All right. And in other news, crazy news, the Americans. Now, this right here is an update that the United States of America is going to be cutting down the cooperation between the United States and Rwanda because they discovered that Rwanda is at war in Congo. I don't know exactly what's happening with the Americans. It's not a surprise to them that Rwanda is a criminal dictatorship. It's not a surprise to them that Rwanda is invading and killing in Congo. And yet the United States of America supports a criminal dictatorship at the heart of Africa. This is very counterproductive for future generations of Americans. I would like to speak to American people specifically because this is your money, these are your tax money, which go to support criminal dictatorships in Africa and other places, but we're focusing on Africa and on this show. The thing is that it's very counterproductive for the future of America because even Africans love peace and democracy, and we would love to be also able to pick our own leaders, not have leaders that are imposed by America or any other superpowers. Look at how Americans were so annoyed by this idea that Russia was tampering with their elections, trying to put a candidate in office that they may not want. This whole idea, you always hear Americans complaining, oh, Russia trying to interfere in our elections, oh, China trying to take over America by destroying our culture and all those things. Well, all these things that America does not want to happen to America, Africans do not want these things to happen to Africans either. So when America supports a criminal dictatorship, such as it is the situation in Rwanda, and that criminal dictatorship goes on and invades and destroys our fellow Africans, it's actually counterproductive for the future generations of Americans and Africans, because America could have had a great advantage in Africa. Let me tell you the advantage of America in Africa. The advantage is that you have Africans, African Americans in America. That is your greatest advantage and your greatest superpower and your greatest ambassadors in Africa. So you have that advantage when it comes to competing for access to Africa or to Africans, competing with Russia and China. You have that advantage. But if America's policy is to go into Africa to destroy or to support criminal dictatorships, then it's counterproductive, because African countries and African people turn towards Russia, towards the Chinese, because they're like, Americans don't care that we also love peace and democracy, and we also want to be able to pick our own leaders. And there are so much wealth. Africa is rich, otherwise we would not be getting invaded, because people broadcast the image of Africa on television over here in Canada, USA, and elsewhere. It's just misery and poverty. But that is not true, because nobody invades poor people. Nobody go to rob a poor people's house. In order for people to go rob a house, the house have to be rich. So the only reason why Africa is always invaded and always getting robbed is because we are so rich. Now, America would have that advantage if they can support democracy and democratic nations and democratic people in Africa, and then we can get to that fair trade where people are hired according to their performance. The whole idea of meritocracy, everything you want in the States, we want in Africa, right? Peace and prosperity. But if America keeps supporting dictatorships, it's not going to happen. And Africans are going to collaborate with other nations that are not America. And America is going to become a third world country. That's just what's going to happen. All right, my people. So we're going to move into French. And as we were going to talk about in French, we're going to talk about the Pan-Africanité and Pan-Africanism. And Kemi Seba is one of the Pan-Africanists under attack in Africa right now, in Benin, because his country is siding with the predators against Niger. And as you know, there has been a coup d'etat in Niger and Mali and Burkina Faso. Those three countries, Niger, Mali, the alliance, the new alliance. There's a new alliance. Mali, Burkina Faso, and Guinea are in a new alliance, and they are ready and willing to defend Niger in case the predators and then other people attack Niger. So I'm looking at the map of Africa right now. Kemi Seba is in Benin. Benin is right under Burkina Faso. All right. So he was planning to go to Niger, which is right above Burkina Faso, and he was planning to go to Niger, and then the Benin government arrested him and his friend at the airport. I think it was his friend who was going to the country so that they can go together to Niger, and then they were arrested. And so I saw one of his speeches talking about how they actually say that Pan-Africanists are are not good. They're not good for the power. They're not good for the dictators. Why? Because Pan Africans care about the interest of the whole Africa instead of looking at their little country or their little tribe. You know, they look at the whole continent and they serve what's in the best interest of the whole continent, which is the dream for all Africa, right? You know, don't just look at your little tribe, your little country, look at the whole continent. This is how we become a superpower. It's in the era of superpowers, big nations getting together. So it makes no sense that a tiny little country, you know, can stand on its own, which is really great that the some countries in West Africa uniting, you know, which is what we should be doing in East Africa and Central Africa. But we can't do that. We can't have a federation, a Congolese federation, for example, because Rwanda is a criminal dictatorship, which is a puppet of the USA, which was installed by the USA, and which does not serve the interest of Rwandans, which does not serve the interest of Africans. So, America finally taking some measures or some sanctions against Rwanda so that they can stop being at war in Congo. This is just like it's been a long time coming, and it's so long overdue because there's so much proof. America itself has so much proof that Rwanda is a criminal dictatorship, and they should boycott the Kagamistan. They should sanction it, and it should have happened a very long time ago, right? So keep pushing, keep making noise. We want those sanctions. We want that boycott because we love democracy as well, and we cannot support a regime which is destroying Africa and which is destroying our fellow Africans, which is plundering and killing in Congo. As you know, we did a show uh, last week and the week before with Onana about Congo, and there has been over 10 million lives lost in Congo. And at the forefront of the tragedy is the Kagamistan in Rwanda doing all this killing and destroying all this life and plundering, and not in the benefit of African people. So that has to end. Thank you so much to Bongo for coming up with the whole Make Noise campaign. Make noise. He confirmed the noise works. Make noise, everybody, but make noise for what and for who? Make noise for you, what you care about. Make noise for causes that you care about, and denounce what is wrong everywhere. So, thank you, USA, for those measures that you're taking to cut your cooperation with a criminal dictatorship in Rwanda. It's just the beginning. It's not enough. It's just the beginning. But thank you for that tiny little step in the right direction. Tiny, tiny, tiny. All right. So we're going to move into France.